Last year, I think we took on a noble task of trying to solve the immigration problem with one grand bill. But what we've learned here in the Senate, that it's very difficult to focus on one issue and get a bill through without a lot of add-ons for special interest. Certainly that's what we ran into on the immigration issue. And so much was added to the bill, it's like trying to swallow an apple when that apple needs to be eaten with a number of different bites. And that's what we're trying to do here with this series of immigration bills that recognize, in order to have a real solution to the immigration problem in our country, that we need to build a platform for reform one plank at a time. And even those who were pushing the comprehensive bill now realize that we need to begin with border control and enforcement, the type of enforcement internally that the senator from North Carolina was talking about, a worker verification program so employers know who's legal and who's not. And if we build this system that way, in a way the American people can trust, we can get to the point where America will trust us to develop new immigration policies, how to deal with those who are already here, and how to accept the immigrants in the future that are needed for our economy. But the very first step, as all of us have recognized, is to have border control. And this body has passed several times legislation that would build a fence, a 700-mile fence along the border that would support our border patrol in stopping illegal immigrants. And it's not just an issue of illegal immigrants themselves. It also involves drug trafficking, it involves human trafficking, and it also involves security from terrorists who might be smuggling weapons into this country. It's essential that we control our borders. In 2006, Congress passed the Secure Fence Act, which requires 700 miles of fencing, and this is metal fencing. This is not virtual fencing. This is metal pedestrian fencing along the southwest border, and a deadline for 370 miles of this to be completed by the end of this year. At this point, only 167 miles of real metal fencing has been completed, but we have been assured by the Department of Homeland Security that they will meet their goal of 370 miles of fencing before the end of this year. The bill that I'm introducing would set a deadline for 2010 for all 700 miles of pedestrian metal fencing to be completed. This is essential to move ahead with the immigration reform process so the American people will know that we are serious about protecting the border and having a workable immigration system. So I would urge all of my colleagues to urge the Department of Homeland Security and comfort the American people with the fact that we're serious about completing this fence and to support the Complete Fence Act of 2008.